Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the COG Let's Play of the month. I'm your host, Caleb Eno. It has been a little bit since I've been with you. I just had a little one born into our family. So my daughter is now just shy of 8 weeks old. So we have gotten to enjoy and care for her over the last couple of months. So I've had to take a little break, but I am back once again to be with you all, to host Let's Play, be part of the COG events and things. So yeah, glad to be here. Glad to get rolling on this. So usually I like to have people join me. It's kind of May is always a bit crazy of a month, and then of course June and July there are various vacations and things. So we'll kind of see where things go here. But general invitation, if anybody is has a game they're like, oh man, I love this game, I'd like to talk about it, and we can do some analysis on it. Let me know, and we can have you on here, and we can do a conversation about it. It's always a lot more fun to do these things when we can actually do live back and forth. So. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get into a game today that was actually brought up by one of our people on our COG Discord. If you're not on our COG Discord, I highly encourage it. There is a lot going on there all the time. We got all kinds of people making really sweet games. It's all right. I mean, we are the Central Ohio Game Developers Group, but you don't necessarily have to be within Central Ohio to engage with our organization. There's plenty of people on our Discord that live various places, and we love the community that builds up around the process of making games together. So I guess I kind of missed my what is COG intro. We always like to share it just because, like, if anybody encounters this and gets a chance to check us out, we're the Central Ohio Game Developers Group. We're a community-run organization in Central Ohio, all about bringing people together in this wonderful, beautiful, very messy thing that we call game dev, right? So we create places for people to interact with one another, share their stories, share their progress, ask questions. We got lots of active dev channels where people are asking great questions about how do we do this, how do we do that. We got a whole contingent of people over the last couple of months who've really dove into the Godot world. Some people have been at it longer than that, but like we've got a good contingent of people that are really interested in that. So if you heard good things about Godot, you want to get into it, this is a good place to come and ask to. So yeah. Really excited to just have you part of what we're doing, because I think there's a lot of good stuff going on here. Just last night we had our prototype and play event. Not last night, sorry, Friday night. We had a prototype and play event on Discord where people bring their games together, and actually we do some play testing and talking about the progress of their games and that sort of thing. Always fantastic time. I think, and I don't have Wes here to confirm with me, but I'm pretty sure that the next round that we have of the Let's Play is going to be in person, question mark? Pretty sure we're in person in June. We're trying to do an in-person event with the Let's Play, not the Let's Play, the prototype and play every 3 months. So that's kind of our current goal for what we're trying to do there. So I'm pretty sure that next month is month 3. And so I'm sure you'll see announcements about that. Yeah, for the moment, what do we got going on today? So, the Let's Play we've done a lot of different things with the Let's Play. So we've had, probably my favorite thing that we've ever done, is when you all launch your game and we're like, wanting to support you and wanting to support people in our community who are launching games, making them available for people. So when you launch a game, if you would like, reach out to us. We'll do a Let's Play on it, and just show it to people, get it out there a little bit more so that people can check it out and hopefully buy it and play it and just enjoy the creative work that you are doing. We've gotten to do a number of those, and it's always just tons of fun getting to show off what people are doing, what they're working on. Engage with that content. So if you've got a game, if you've launched a game or about to launch a game, reach out to me on the Discord. Let me know. I'd love to talk more about it and get you a slot on the roster where those usually immediately will go to the top of the list. Like nothing else kind of is more important than that in our minds. And hey, if we got to the point where there's like several of you, we'll add a couple extra just ad hoc to get those recorded, get those out there for people. So yeah, let's see. Today is what we're doing. We've done traditionally is basically we're taking a game that exists out in the wild, not necessarily created by anybody in our community, and we're going to talk about its design. That's kind of was the inception of this channel, was this idea of like, let's have a conversation about a game and its design, because we think that is a really valuable exercise to take a look into how other games are accomplishing what they're accomplishing, to kind of collectively increase our knowledge about game design. So yeah, this was my first month back, so I kind of just put the question out to the community. I was like, hey, what are y'all playing right now that you really enjoying? We are hoping at some point to do Helldivers, just because I love Helldivers. I think it is a fantastic game, a really well-designed game. There's some cool technological things there. It's also, just by the nature of the beast, a good conversation about publisher-developer relationships and publisher-developer community relationships, and how you deal with games that have a large player base that's actively collaborating with one another. How do you navigate certain pitfalls and other things? So I think we're gonna hopefully gonna do Helldivers here at some point, just because I think it would be a really fantastic thing to talk about. But we're gonna postpone that for this month, and so got some suggestions. You guys are playing some cool stuff. There's some really neat stuff going on out there. I'm always amazed by what's kind of smaller studios or indie studios are doing out there. Just awesome stuff. Really, really cool. Had a couple of great suggestions. A couple of them I had to kind of go back and forth on. I decided to land on today's game, which I'll transition here to. I decided to land on today's game, which is Another Crab's Treasure. This was a great suggestion in the Discord. It's a relatively recent game. It came out April 25th, so just last month. It's not even a month old yet, being out in the wild. Getting amazing reviews. People really liking this game. This is the developer puts it into the camp of the Souls-like type genre, what you'd like to call it. And I don't think we've done anything in the Souls-like, unless you count Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's kind of an interesting, primarily a Metroidvania, but with some Souls-like combat, like things, ideas, concepts. So that might have been another one that was kind of a Souls-like. But in terms of like your more like three-dimensional combat style thing, collection of mechanics, that this is definitely in that more Souls-like, like Dark Souls, like oh come on, Elden Ring. There we go. Boy. Whew. Which Elden Ring is the only one that I've actually played from FromSoft, right? I don't have somebody here to correct me. Anybody in the chat? FromSoft. Yes, I believe it's FromSoft. From Software. From Software? Yeah. Anyway, that was one of the only ones that I've played. Haven't beaten it. It's challenging, as the genre tends to be. People are really liking this one because it's a little bit more accessible while still kind of maintaining that core difficulty challenge element to it. It's also got a really fun vibe to it, as you'll see. We'll get into it, obviously. But I just got to play for about 20 minutes before getting everything set up here for today. It was a fun little thing. Also, I'll talk more about this later, but it just kind of has a special place in my heart as well. For reasons I'll talk about. But this is be a good opportunity for us to talk about the elements of Souls-likes, kind of what defines a Souls-like. What is it that's their sort of more essential core elements? And one of the things that I think is always critical to talk about in the the like genres. So, roguelike, Souls-like, Metroidvania, that sort of a thing. You're always in a dialogue, right, with the games that defined the genre. And then you're also in a dialogue with the other games that have been in dialogue with it. And so there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of conversations, and there's a certain degree to which if you want to stand out, you have to put your own flavor and your own twist on something. Now, sometimes games stand out because they execute on the core philosophy, the core mechanical design, really, really well. There's some games that will have the same mechanical set, but it's just kind of the samey. It doesn't really do anything different, or it doesn't necessarily execute it as well as the original. And a lot of those will just kind of disappear because they don't land the plane in terms of like hooking the player into something that is a new or better, interesting experience. We actually see this a lot with Vampire Survivors, right? Because Vampire Survivors was, by design, a particularly easy build. Like, there's nothing too terribly complicated about how that game works. It's really pretty straightforward, easy for a single developer to make, with or without any artistic ability. And so, you see a lot of games that are just kind of coming out producing vampire likes over and over and over again. Great for game jams. If you just are trying to like build your first game or something, great for game jams. But there have been some that have been standouts where they actually took the core ideas in Vampire Survivors, did something new with it, tried a whole new set of stuff, and then kind of branched off into their own really cool thing. And so we're going to talk about Another Crab's Treasure, I think, is doing some mechanical things that are interesting, a lot of mechanical things that are pretty similar to Dark Souls, but then has a tone that is very much its own. And so that's another thing you can do too. You might have a mechanical situation where it's very similar, but you can change different things like artistic style, tone, overall narrative. There's other ways that you can kind of play with the mechanics that make the type. So, all of that said, I feel like it might be time to actually get into the game here. I will say, one of my favorite, this is kind of aside, but going back to what I was talking about at the opening about wanting to play people's games from within our community, we actually did a Vampire Survivor Let's Play a couple months back, where we went through a couple of different games playing with the same ideas. And towards the end, we actually had somebody who was in the chat who had developed their own, with their own kind of unique spin and take on it. And we actually ad hoc played the game right live, like just made the decision live and played it. That was excellent. Like, it was kind of exactly what I would hope for in terms of in terms of like community engagement. So that was a good moment. I was really excited for that. So let's go ahead and get into Another Crab's Treasure. And it probably would help if I got the sound going. There we go. Let's see. Turn it down just a smidgen. All right. I have put my face bubble where it is because we've got some UI elements down in the corner there. So we shall hover just slightly above the left. All right, so for the purposes of playing the game, let's just go ahead and let's start over. Delete the file. Also, can we just take a second and appreciate they're doing everything right here from a UI perspective. The shaking, the red flashing, the having to hold it in. That's probably a good 5 second. 1, 2, 3 or 4 second count to make sure that you were really doing what you know you're about to delete the file. Great UI. Fantastic. Okay. Play new game. Slight language warning.
What word comes to mind when you think of the Earth? For some, that word might be beautiful.
Hey, Davide.
Others might say the world is hateful, or evil, or unstable, or full of shit. But above all else, the word that best describes our world is resilient. Against the odds, time and time again, creatures adapt to make the most of their given environment. Some learn to feed on others, stealing their vitality for their own. Some become scavengers, living off what strangers leave behind. And others still, as we will soon see,
Loved that transition right there.
would prefer to be simply left alone.
This is the intro. We're just opening up here.
Go away! No one's home!
Sir, please open up.
Oh, you're not a bird.
Sir, are you the owner of this residence?
You mean my shell? Yeah, it's mine. Do you like it?
I represent the Royal Duchy of Slacktide, which has recently annexed the territory surrounding and including this tide pool. I'm here to inform you that you have outstanding taxes that date back in upwards of 10 tides. If you are presently unable to pay this balance, the Duchy will claim you home until you...
Hold on. I've got some questions. First of all, what's a duchy? Also, taxes.
Okay, so basically, the Duchess of Slacktide owns this whole area now. And she puts a lot of effort into keeping it safe. So, everyone who benefits from that has to abide by her rules and pay up once per tide.
There's still plenty of birds here. I don't know if it's really safe.
Look, kid, I don't have time to argue political nuances here. I've got a lot of tax evaders to get to. You gotta pay up right now, or I'm gonna have to repo your property. Got it?
Okay. I think I've got a hard kelp or two around here somewhere.
All right, so here's our opening. One thing I will say is that I had my controller sitting on the desk during the opening cinematic, and when Lone Shark taps on the shell, the controller vibrates at like, they set it to like the 100% vibration, and it goes like the whole desk shook. I was like, oh my gosh. It was very effective. Anyway, so nice little tutorial note here. They popped up move legs and rotate camera. And I rotated the camera. One popped as yellow, disappeared. And now if I start moving around, it also pops up and goes away. That's just a great way to do it, I think, because it's subtle. It's kind of out of the way. It doesn't go away on a timer, so it doesn't show up and then 10 seconds later go away or something like that. It lets the player interact with the tutorial, and once the interaction has happened, it's gone. And it's subtle for somebody who's new, and it's basically innocuous for somebody who expects that is the control scheme. So they would just do it and almost not even notice the tutorial. That kind of a thing I think is really great, just to do the soft touch sort of tutorial stuff. There's also an element to which I got the sense from their Steam page and some of what the reviews were talking about, that there's like there's sort of an expectation that yes, it's a Souls-like, yes, it's a little bit more of a difficult game, but they are kind of trying to make it more accessible to a broader audience. There's still going to be some limitations to that because it's going to require you to be technical in your approach to it, but it is trying to be a little bit more accessible to some people. Yes, I do recommend that kind of a tutorial where it's clear and unobtrusive. Also, I absolutely love the shell. that has the Band-Aid on it and the crack. Let's talk to Lone Shark here. There's also this nice little sand trail. I just think that that's a really nice detail. This is another little soft touch thing. So rather than using just push A and it advances, it's push A to like acknowledge. So there's that little extra bit of intentionality sort of forces the player, like, you can't just sort of mindlessly go past it, even if your player doesn't necessarily read it. That little extra hold kind of clocks them into it. I think there's a degree to which you could argue that maybe that's a little bit too long of a hold for an acknowledgement, but those sort of soft touch things you can kind of play back and forth with to engage your player a little bit more. So they do this a lot, where they have aquatic replacements for curse words. The trash standard. Again, with the aquatic replacement for curse words. So I didn't initially realize that this game was going to be about a hermit crab. I actually had a hermit crab for a while, and it died tragically, and that was extraordinarily sad for me. I was working really hard to create a really nice habitat for it, and it unfortunately passed away before I was able to get that habitat, all of it going well, which is very sad for me. Buried it in my parents' front yard. Also, just the nice, like, pops up. If you're looking around, you can see him, and then you move to the next one. A nice way to just kind of get your character moving, get your player introduced to the feel of the movement. I think it's really fairly standard. Feels really good. No really complaints. Here we go to our next tutorial section. This is very classic for either like a double jump scenario or in this case, swimming, sometimes gliding. Spyro the Dragon had something that was totally like this. You jump, you fall. There's a insurpassable wall with your normal jump, so that you have to go climb back up. This is like level design 101 for platformers. Just you have to. You need your player, even for like a well-established genre like a three-dimensional platformer, two-dimensional platformer. One of the things that you're trying to get your player to understand is what are the distances they can work with. This is great for something like Spyro, where you have a glide and a certain descent, or you have a double jump, and you're trying to get your player to understand what the sort of edge-to-edge capabilities are of your movement field. And so something like this, where you have a press and hold, helps you know. And also notice that I can actually swim past this if I maximize my jump distance. I can almost go twice as far as this pedestal is. And so they're giving you quite a bit of leeway there to kind of learn the limits of what you've got. But what I like about this is the next round here, when you get to this part, I'm just kind of curious if there isn't a tutorial piece for the mesh. It just kind of happens. Also, this is just a really subtle little thing here. This is probably a shader effect, and all they're doing is they're shrinking the FOV around the player character on the net, and that's all that is. That's just a little, but it's kind of effective. I mean, you can see it's a little bit janky, but yeah, it's just, yeah, it's a nice little effect. It kind of works. It's also just pretty cheap to make something like that. But here, this is, so they don't tell you that you have to do this, but if you're an astute observer at this point, you'll notice there's a ledge, there's another ledge, and there's a glowy thing. And this is just sort of one of the things we always talk about in game development, right? Is you've got kind of two tiers to your player's engagement. You have challenge and you have mastery. And so as your player increases in mastery of the systems, you need to increase the challenge of your systems to match the mastery. And when those two things are kind of in the right sync, then the player feels really good. You get into a situation where it feels like when you lose, oh, if I had just done this, or if I just dodged that, I would have won. Or if you win, it's, oh, I just barely won that. And that's kind of the sweet spot. Souls-like games are a little more interesting than that because they kind of want you to experience that, but over multiple attempts. So they're wanting you to try and just get trounced. And you try again, but you do a little bit better. And then you try again, you get trounced. And you do a little bit better the next time. And you kind of like, and then finally you get that last hit and you beat them and you're like, oh, yes, I did it. And you feel accomplished, or you throw your controller to rage and walk away. But like, Souls-like games are kind of interesting as they break that traditional dynamic where you're trying to sort of match your players' flow, is what we call that, perfectly. That's not necessarily the goal here, but you can be, you can do this wrong. And how you would do this wrong is if you made it look, well, basically if you just made it punishing, because the thing about a well-designed difficult scenario is it's totally possible for the player and to like communicate to the player that they can know it's totally within their capabilities. And then to make them work for it, but show them that if they work for it, they're going to get it. But if it's very clear that it's like basically impossible, your players aren't going to work for it. There's going to be, I can tell this is not going to work. Now, that's a whole aside to this particular scenario, which is this is not required, but if you are somebody who's more capable, who's already achieved some level of mastery, or you want to try, here's a challenge for you. Here's something that you can do. And this is actually going to require you to run, jump, and swim. And it's going to pretty much be at the maximum jump distance that you're capable of at this point, which I think is great. Like that's it. It really pushes you if you do the whole. Whoops! Oh, look at me just falling like that. If you can master the system to do a running start, a jump, and a swim, you can get to the end, which is great. You can get your first bread claw. All right, let's move forward. right. So this was actually, I wish there had been a better explanation for this. Initially, I was trying to fight them. I was trying to, like, you know, raised on Mario that I was trying to, like, jump on their heads or something like that. But no, that's not what's going on here. You just need to run, basically. There's a bunch of crabs. They're all gonna, like, attack you, and you just gotta run from them. Nope, didn't make it. And they give you this little respite. Oh! He actually climbed up at me. I didn't do that last time. Oh boy. Like this very obvious. Again, some pretty solid level design here. So once you jump down here, you can't get back. If you walk around here, there's these bottles, but they're impassable. You can't do anything there. Also, I mean, it's fairly obvious, but there's a raised pedestal with a god beam coming down on top of it. This is just like classic three-dimensional platforming, like, level design right here. And then the nice little bubble. Let's try to see if this was... It's permanent. Yeah, okay. That is permanently locked on the screen. The interaction icon. Interestingly enough, it's to the side. I wonder if that's because... Yeah, okay. I think it's because the character is in the middle. And so it's offset based on the character's position. Poke him with the pokey bit. Do you know how to use that thing? Yeah. Let's stick the pointy end in the other man. Anybody know what that movie's from? Or that quote? What movie that quote is from? Rusty fork. Press RB to swing the fork. And they give you that little pop-up to acknowledge that. Then you have attack and charge attack. One of the things that we can talk about with Souls-like are the... If you're building one of the core things that you need to think about within your character's arsenal, how they interact with the world from a combat perspective, is wind up. So you see he pulls back and then he attacks. So there's a wind up time, there's an attack time, and then there's a recover time. And all of those things are important because how much time you go through those is a whole calculation based on how long is it going to take you to attack, how long is it going to take you to recover, how much damage is that going to do. And the combination of those things is how you kind of understand your risks, because combat is inherently risky in these kinds of games. Every encounter is going to cost you something, and so you have to determine what the risks are based on your arsenal. So we have these. In this case, I think there's 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, hold on a second. Okay, so this one's set of 4. A lot of times you'll see sets of 3. 1, 2, 3. And that yell tells you it's the set of 4. So that helps you understand kind of, because I think when you do like a combo, it either takes longer to recover after the final combo, or maybe there's a faster recover after the last combo. It depends. So there's that, and then you have also the dodge. They haven't actually talked about this yet. We can talk about that when the tutorial comes up. And they haven't talked about this yet, but this is a thing I found out you can do. Jump and attack. And then you have your wind up, which was actually part of the tutorial. So You lose a lot of your maneuverability when you do the wind up. It's going to do more damage. It's directed forwards. You can kind of see that by the blast going in this direction. All of this stuff really matters when you get into higher levels of play. Yep. You'll do right stick, focus, camera lock. This is built in Unity, by the way. I don't think we talked about that at the beginning, but that's a great thing to know if you're using Unity. Cinemachine is probably one of the best assets for Unity ever. It makes work like this, interesting camera stuff, just super easy to get really nice, really cinematic looking camera action. I'm sure that they're using it. Oh, look, I just died. That was doing pretty good there, dodgy, for a minute. When you're slain, you'll drop all your microplastics and your shell, if you had one, in the spot where you died. Be careful where you go to pick them up. If you die again while they're still in the ground, they'll be lost forever. This is very common, right? It's very common in Souls-likes. Hollow Knight did it. I think in a genre type, I'm not sure what the best word is. In this type of game, which is punishing, I think that sort of umbrella, that blanket of being like, you can lose everything and you get one shot to get it all back before it's gone forever. I think that is such a boon to players. Is you just died, you just lost, you lost everything, and you've got one chance to get it back. And I think that's fantastic. I think it pushes the player forward. It gives them a sense of hope. And then there's like the feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose everything. Can't die. And then you get it back and you're like, yes. Or that feeling of, I died. I lost everything. Oh no. I think both of those are very effective. And there's a reason why that mechanic has just been repeated again and again, because it is so effective. And here's our dodge introduction. And of course, enemies are going to have a similar kind of thing, right? So they're going to have a wind-up, they're going to have an attack and a recovery, and they're also going to, and I suspect this is true for the player too, is they're going to have the like interrupt frames, right? Where you can attack them before they attack, preventing them from executing their attack. Ugh. Didn't run. Didn't run again. Boy, alright. Try this one more time. Or 5. We'll see. And for the astute observer, this delightful little bottle collection over here, you could, of course, just move on. But I love games where little bitsies like this are hidden around. It's probably my favorite thing in a game. And it doesn't have any explanation for what those things are. Ooh. Nope, that's nothing. Yeah, puzzle design. There's a comment here. I hate it when it takes eons to figure out puzzles. Yeah, puzzle design is really interesting in games like this or in platformers in general. Platformers always have a relationship with puzzles because puzzles are nice because they kind of provide a different beat to combat. Combat can get really exhausting after a while, and it creates kind of a secondary beat. Lore can do that too, so like pickups or other lore elements can provide sort of that other beat, the downbeat, for your pacing of your game. But yeah, that there's another Souls like, I don't know if people know this or think about it this way, but the Jedi series, so Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, are exactly in they're basically just reskinned Dark Souls games in most ways. Phenomenal games. Like, that's not a knock on them at all. They're great. But there's it's really good to have like those kind of like upbeats, downbeats. There's a lot of puzzle solving. At least I haven't played the second one so much, but the Fallen Order, there's a lot of puzzle solving, especially like temples and stuff. And some of them can be a little esoteric at times. Not usually too bad. But yeah, there's definitely there's a dynamic relationship there. Sometimes, you know, there can be other ideas, like Spyro, I think, is really great in some respects, is that has the once every world there's the flight world, right, where you have to like collect all of the things or fly through all of the gates, whatever, to get the additional gems. And I loved those because it's just something really different from the rest of the game, to give you that kind of downbeat, different experience, kind of a thing. So having stuff like that is really valuable, and puzzles are kind of an easy reach just because there's a long history of puzzles and platformers and that sort of a thing. But you can get creative. You can come up with some other interesting things, different challenges, races, mini games. Like this is not a platformer, but you have like Sabak in like Knights of the Old Republic. Sabak. Am I saying that wrong? I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Let's see. Yes, good hinting too. Yeah, that's a good point. Being able to telegraph to your players destructibles and hidden areas, because again, you have for the fine line. If your areas are just, if you have like here's a fake wall, but it just looks like every other wall, there's no way to tell that it's there, that's kind of lame. You only ever find it if you find it by accident, and then you end up just pushing on every single wall the entire game, and that's lame. No, you don't like, your player's not going to enjoy that. But if you have some like mechanism or some hinting or even just some visual cue that helps your player understand, I should maybe investigate this, I think that can be really great. Anyway, so we get these moon snail shells. I think they are effectively like the meditation thing from Jedi, or they're the bonfires. They're a place for you to rest and kind of save your progress. Yeah, well, the interesting thing about Doom is Doom is pulling from, you know, old school Doom, which Doom, I didn't play the original Doom too much, but I did play Wolfenstein 3D. It's same engine, same company, and of course they do that, right? They have just completely impossible to find hidden areas unless you already kind of know where they are. Sidebar though, I don't really like the grainy texture. Completely a personal choice thing here. It might be total. It's probably totally fine, but as this person's eyeballs, visually speaking, I don't really like the particular grainy texture. But neither here nor there. All right. Yeah. So you can. There's a whole bunch of shells that you could get in this game. I haven't actually played it far enough to find that mechanic, so hopefully we will here before this is over. And then they have a level up system. They actually made the decision that there's a single currency, so these microplastics, and you use those for leveling up your character, but you also use them for purchasing other things in game. I assume shells is going to be at least one of them, but we don't currently have enough to do that. So now, what I was curious about is whether or not going inside of the shell would reset the enemies like it does, and I believe the... Okay, so that did that. If I go inside, does it reset the kelp? It does. Okay. All right, so this is the part of the game where we talk about the Estus Flask, which is a super cool mechanic. I think probably one of my favorite mechanics for how making the Souls genre work. Let's get through this real quick. So the Estus Flask is really cool. Basically, you have a healing capability. In this case, it's the kelp, but it might just be a flask, or it might be, I can't remember what they're called in Jedi. But basically, they are a healing element. The only healing element you get. Not potions, not collectibles, not perishables, consumables. They are a set of heals that you start with, and you can progressively increase the number of them throughout the game, usually by finding hidden things or purchasing them. And as you get those, you can use them, and then when they're gone until you reach a bonfire or meditation platform, or in this case, the shell, and then they refill. This is usually done at a cost because it returns all of the enemies that you've defeated. And so you kind of, it's resetting almost everything. Basically, it's saying, hey, at this point, I'm gonna kind of save my location, but the rest of the world kind of resets, goes back to the way it was. I think that's a really powerful mechanic because I don't know if you've ever played like Final Fantasy or something where you end up with 999 bajillion mega potions at the end, but you never use them because you never know when you might need them later. And then that's basically a useless mechanic at that point because your players are incentivized to hang on to them because they're scarce and difficult to come up with. What this system does, it actually makes your healing way more accessible, and you can always get them back. So there's never really, there's a little bit of a conversation of like, well, can I maybe go a little bit further before I try to heal? Or not, what do I do? Yes, I have to save everything for the sequel. Good one. Yeah, so it's like, but it's just like, you're gonna, if you die, you're gonna reset here and you'll have to try it again. So you might as well heal. And I think that's great because the system actually incentivizes players to use it rather than to save it. Because there's no benefit to hanging on to them long term. You got to use it, or once you get to the next meditation platform, you get them all back anyway. So you might as well just use them. I love this mechanic. I think it's a great example of how you can come at the idea of a healing item and give it a new spin and just completely change the incentive systems for the player. Oh, geez. Also, not so subtle conversation about pollution in the ocean, for sure. Okay. Yeah, apparently you can't collect all trash. Yeah, but I guess it's got to be specific kinds of trash. They only want the good stuff. Is that a Loki fish? But that's definitely a fish with hooks strapped to its head. That is definitely what that was. Sweet shades. Didn't really work. Oh well. Hey, look. Bicolus. This is a fun thing people do a lot of times in games, is they make up fake names that are clearly a play on the originals. I think one of the best I've ever seen was in Kingdom Hearts 3, in the Toy Story Al's Toy Barn world. They had all of these like made up video games and movies and stuff. That was pretty great. What is this? Oh my gosh. There we go. Barbed hook. Oh, that actually has a mechanical point. Soldier on tomatoes right off the stage. It's hilarious. Understand. Oh, you know what's really cool? I just noticed this, but underwater when you jump, there's like a little bubble shockwave. Like the mantis shrimp. Gosh. Those hooks up there. Okay. Yeah, you're probably right. It just distorted. Yeah. Yeah, I've tried to use ChatGPT for shaders before too, and I have run into basically the same thing. It just doesn't quite work. And I guess I tend to use shader graph for that more than trying to code things. But even then, if I find it better to use it to find me a video of somebody doing something similar to what I'm trying to do. Not that that always works either. There's definitely somebody on their team who was having fun with shaders, because these little like distortions in the water bottles. Man, I've gotten to work with some people who are absolute wizards with shaders. Just like unbelievable. I like that they just they have a thing where they leave the they take off the I don't know if it's they're removing the rigid body or something, but they just let the object, the body of the dead creature just sort of persist in a straight line for a while. Why did the crab cross the road? I can't believe it. Oh, it actually was there. Oh, this is bad. Okay. Get rid of that. Oh, okay. Things getting hot. Wowzers. All right. Ooh, boy. I feel really good about that, honestly. Bloodstar Limb. Say hi to your bird for me. There's a couple of celebrity birds on YouTube. This is kind of a nice open space. I wonder if there's a map or anything here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Get a little bit of something here. So we have adaptions, stowaways, inventory, vitality, skill tree. All right. Let's keep looking around here. I want to see if we can find our way to a shell at some point. Well, there's a battery. Man, that's bad. Don't throw your batteries in the water, man. Ooh, that was bad. That was really bad. Heal thyself. All right. This is not easy combat. It is absolutely challenging. It's simple, but challenging. Not unfair. I think that is what would tank a game like this. Is if you made your combat feel unfair, then I think you'd be in trouble. Siphonophore. Unfathomably large number of microscopic creatures make up this bizarre organism. You know, I think I've heard about those before. It has... Oh, it's a stowaway. little friend that you can equip in the status menu to gain all sorts of benefits. You need a shell. MSG. Don't know what that is just yet. I'm intentionally not healing at the moment. Oh, hey. I'll have that. If you ever run into a hermit crab running at you with a two-prong fork, run. Nice. Okay, there's a save spot. At least, moon snail shell. Okay. I think umami based. It is. No way. It is MSG umami. Okay, no, that's brilliant. I love it. I am gonna put a point into attack though. So that's really funny. I saw MSG. I was like, what does that stand for? It actually stands for monosodium glutamate, which is that's brilliant. I love it. Why did the lobster blush? Okay, that one doesn't quite land as well for me. Oh, this is a problem because those two fish are swimming around. Oh, there's another fish. Oh, yeah, we're in trouble here. About to get swarmed. Okay, so this is something that can happen here. You can get swarmed pretty easily by the wrong combination of enemies. The hiding them in the seagrass is very clever too. Oh, you know what? I think the enemies did reset. Oh, they totally did. Oh, you know what they did? They reset when the level up happened. I think. Maybe they just reset when I went inside, but they for sure did it when the level up happened. Right, what do we got here? Yes. Nice, okay. Here we go. Oh, pieces of heart. Thank you, Legend of Zelda. Aside from some things dropping, like, usable items, most of the time there isn't much of an advantage of picking a lot of extra fights in these kind of games. They kind of encourage the player to be more strategic about their encounters, because, I mean, you get hurt, that your health is at a premium pretty much all the time. This is a wall of no passing. Oh, guess not. I expected this to not let me keep going. Oh, there is a wall coming up, though. Oh, here it is. This, my friends, is a wall of no passy. It is an arbitrary barrier created to explain to the player that they are not able to go this way. You know, I've seen so many ways of doing this over the years. Sometimes you just create a wall, and there's just an impassable wall. But I remember in Spyro, one of the early levels, they had a like a force field wall that was there in this one level. I know games popularized by Assassin's Creed, they introduced the idea of like because everything you're playing is a memory, if you leave the area of their memory, then it's like you can't go this way because they didn't ever go this way, so you don't have any memory for that. There are ways that you can kind of try to explain it away, but this is, I mean, while it is in fact a Souls, like, it's also playing with that kind of classic three-dimensional platformer world space, for sure. There is an X right here on the ground. I presume I can't do a ground pound or anything at this point. This is the thing about drives me crazy about Metroidvanias, is knowing that you're going to be able to do something with that, but you can't yet. He said Godot has a shader built in for the don't appear till you get close effect. Yeah, that kind of thing is useful. Yeah, okay, so this is a note about being able to leave notes on your map. So 3DS Castlevania, you could write notes on things to come back to. That kind of a thing, I think, you have to, you don't want it to be just sort of like, I mean, I guess, you don't necessarily want it to be just, you can write things anywhere, but giving some kind of mechanism. I know, well, like Breath of the Wild did this, right? So they had the stamp system where you could leave one of like 10 stamps. As an option for remembering to go back and look at things, right? Oh, okay, so it was a similar kind of thing where you could get stamps, leave them there. Yeah, that kind of a system, I mean, I feel like that's not too terribly difficult to implement. I am curious, though, like, I'm kind of curious what the point is for limiting them. I mean, obviously, like, too many game objects in the scene limit, performance reasons. I'm sure that that's why Breath of the Wild had a hard limit of how many you could put on there. But I feel like 20 seems like a pretty low number to me. What's the purpose of limiting it to 20? Why not 50? Or 100? What is there really a technological limitation there? I mean, maybe on the DS, I don't know, but ooh, that's a problem. There's absolutely something to limiting, your players, because limits, if you have to make a decision between X and Y, that's a much more interesting choice than just having X and Y. But I'm not sure about, like, leaving yourself stamp locations, if that's really a nuanced choice, necessarily. Especially in a big game. In a small game, yeah, that could be very different. Okay, Krabby. Back, ruffians. Back, I say. Dude, crabs are so cool. Crustaceans in general, just very cool. Oh, this guy's giving me the evil eyeball. Simple insights of country folk. Oh, nice. Oh. Snuck up on me. Yeah, I just love exploring spaces like this. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were overwhelming at times, but to a large degree that they were just a super pleasure just to walk around in. I like thinking about level design too, just because that was a nice little kind of like contained encounter. Because it's more than just terrain. You can use terrain to kind of create little bubbles of play space. You can create enemies to kind of create little bubbles of play space. I do like the fish that kind of wander around because they add a little bit of strategic dynamism to your encounters, because if you're just running amok and attacking things, those guys can kind of join into an attack they weren't necessarily created to be a part of by default, but they can kind of come in and add some chaos to the battle if you're not looking out for them, which I like that a lot. Yeah, Xander, the movement's pretty intuitive. If I were to put it in a category of movement feel, camera feels great. The character is just a tad slow. I think it's by design. It's not a bad thing, but like for a standard movement experience, it's probably a tad slower than a lot of games with this kind of camera and setup and movement. Whoa, dude, what is that? Oh, that was bad. Yikes. What was I talking about? Dynamism? I'm dead. Oh, now I need to make it across the ocean floor to retrieve my lost goods. I think I'll probably be okay here. Those fish might give me some trouble. Yeah, so Souls-like, more. That might be fun. It's actually, it reminds me a little bit of the idea of leaving a grave behind whenever you die. Reminds me of Valheim. Valheim does that, and that's where you can go collect your stuff. But unlike this, where you have kind of an unlimited number of, or not unlimited, where you only get the one shot before you lose your stuff. You can always go back to your stuff. You'll just keep leaving more and more places. I think what even could be fun is if you could. This is a much more systematic thing, but if you could sort of log the death and how the player died, and you could add a little snippet about how they died, or the circumstances they died in. That could be a fun little memory to be like, and here the person died because they got their head bitten off by a sardine or whatever. I don't know. Using inspiration from the game I'm playing. Come on. And what is this little nook hiding back here? There's got to be something good, right? This got some pretty intense combat here. Yeah, I'm gonna keep calling those Loki fish though. Ooh, that's not good. Also, that heel's got kind of a long wind up. Oh, what is that? The rocket launcher's not a toy. Yeah. I fell in love with lava. I love it. Oh, this looks hard. This looks like I'm gonna die. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna die. Oh, fudge. I got so close! I did strategically, though, move myself to a place where I was further away from the boss. This is requiring a bit more concentration. My apologies here. Yeah, so let's talk about what we got going on here. So this has been a little kind of challenge area here. Obviously optional, not part of the main Have a fun little... extra bit of... Okay. The hermit crab does a little, like, Nurado run. Thing that I can't decide is the feeding the boss in of itself worth it? Perhaps? Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Well, maybe this time I'll just go grab my stuff and make my way back to the castle so we can maybe see what happens when you get a shell here. Nobody needs to continue to watch me embarrass myself at the mini-boss here. Oh no, this is bad. I'm not being careful. Cautious here. We run. Oh, there was something to talk to over here. I don't know how to get up there. Well, let's just go to the castle. But having a shell would actually probably make that battle easier. You know that there's a no shell run, right? There's gotta be. Halt, trespasser! I ordered the Duchess. All suspicious characters would be barred from Slacktide. Pretty harmless. I'll go even. Twixt these mighty gates, the lights remain ungirded. Come on. All right. Now we're following the yellow brick road here. Ah, crap. Oh, come on. I can totally get up there. Lame. Oh, I see how you're supposed to do it. We're either gonna get a ground pound or maybe a shovel. Oh, come on. I remember the second Spyro game, they added the extra little kind of flutter at the end of the jump. Oh, what did I do? I completely... Alright. Attack is kind of a weird extra... It's the right bumper by default. I think you can change it. I think I saw they have the ability to change the control scheme, but... Yes! Man, you know how easy it would be to get down there from up here? Alright, let's see if this is the place. Soda can. Defense 30, weight medium. Found a weird metal shell. LB to hide. Okay. That is
lawbreaker.
Oh, crap. I'm sorry. Was I supposed to grab a ticket?
You think yourself above the law, but the law is not so easily outwitted. By its strength alone do we rise above the beasts.
I'm really sorry. I'll go to the back of the line, okay?
You should be so lucky. I'll have your head like I have these other worthless law breakers.
well now. Okay.
Your fish food! Your filthy soul is destined for the drain!
Dang. Where's my stuff? Oh, they nicely spawned it right here. I see. Okay. All right. So push the button. grab a shell.
Close off,
Okay.
lawbreaker!
We skip. So, let's see if I can do this. I don't have a lot of confidence, but we shall see. Ooh, ouch.
Your fish food! Your filthy soul is destined for the grave!
Woof. I got a couple hits on him that time. That counts for something, right? Cover junk, thank you. Yeah, okay. Alright. Alright, has a good backswing. Really good back kick.
Your fish food!
Get another one. Get another one.
Stop resisting! Through my blade is justice stuffed and it's hurt!
Aggro attacks. Or dodge, run, or jump out of the way. Alright.
You dare raise your blade against the law! Your filthy soul is destined
You know,
for the grave!
I've been getting better every time. I feel like I'm sort of living out for you the whole thing that we've been talking about this whole time. The slowly getting better. All right, we're gonna try this again. That's a pretty fast response on the...
Your fish food!
Yep.
Your filthy
I
soul
didn't do a very good job blocking it all that
destined for the
time.
grave!
1 step forward, 2 steps back. Or something like that anyway.
Close!
I'm sorry that you'll have to watch me get pwned repeatedly here. Oof.
Your fish food!
Okay. Can I swap? Wait, I can swap. Yes! I can swap.
Through my blade is
I was trying to heal. Didn't work.
Destined for the drain.
See, it's a lot more direct about the near boss respawn recovery being mechanical better level design like Elden Ring with the cutscene playing. Yeah, boy, the cutscene playing every time is a grind. Like it's that's I am not a fan of that. If you are setting up your player to be in a battle situation where you kind of have an expectation that it's going to take him a little bit, don't make them go through the skipping the cutscene every time. That's just not great.
Your fish food.
Actually, did that almost perfectly this time.
Resistance. Through my blade is justice stuck on its earth. You dare raise your blade against the law?
Oh, crap!
Degenerate!
Oof.
How far are you alive, Varmint? Your filthy soul is destined for the grave.
Yeah, apparently you were supposed to get in line, take a ticket in order to get a shell, and you went up and you just stole the shell. I feel pretty good about how far I got on that bar, though. Whew. I'm learning some tricks here. I'll try to talk about it more in depth once I actually get through this, if I get through this. I don't know, we're kind of coming up on time here before too long here. Oh, boy.
Oh, crab. I'm sorry. Was I
Skip. Okay. Skip. All right.
Your fish food.
Yeah, see where I'm getting hit here is I am not using. Basically, what's happening is I'm letting my. He's hitting me during my my frames where I can't get my recovery frames. I guess that's what those called.
Through my blade is justice stuck on its earth.
Oh, not good.
You dare risk your filthy soul.
was gonna.
is
Crap.
destined for the drain.
Yeah, I kept getting caught where I was my recovery frames and I couldn't defend myself. We shall see if I can beat this in the next 15 minutes. I think I can. I think I can pull it off, and then we can call it quits for today.
Your fish food!
Enemy within attacks to max out their balance meter will open them up to being capsized. Their health bar starts flashing. I saw that happen earlier where their health bar flashed them. The power for attacks is a charge attack to knock them down for several seconds. Whoa. That's fantastic. Ooh, not good.
Brew up your filthy soul!
Dang it.
Destined for the grave!
Man, that was awesome. I did really well. And then I thought I lost it right there at the end.
Now raise your blade against the law!
That was cool to learn about the mechanic though. I kind of wish I had learned about that before. Because I've run into situations where that has popped up before. Come on, Nephro, let's dance. No!
Your fish food!
That seems to be a precarious position. Come on, you're one hit away.
Through my blade is justice! You now raise your blade against the law!
No!
Degenerate!
I'm gonna take it easy, play it safe. Myself a new can. I got him!
Run the law forever,
Ah.
kid.
Self-defense, right? Whew. I landed on a sword. Woo, boy. Phew. I walked away from that one. I feel pretty great. That's the thing, though. That's the thing. The that we were talking about way back at the beginning is challenge and mastery, right? Like feeling like you're just almost there. You're right on the edge of being able to do it. And if you just try a little bit harder, you can get it. And that is exactly how that battle felt. Like I felt right at the beginning, I just got trolloped. I got a little bit better, and I got trolloped a couple more times, and I got a little better, and just kind of like bit by bit worked my way up there. I feel really, I'm really excited about that. That was a good run. So, okay, let's do that. Cool. All right. That is just about all that we have time for. I kind of want to run up here and see. Don't seem to be anything I can do for these crabs. They seem to be in a sorry state. Ooh, but there's something golden up here. The long claw of the law. You can change costumes in the status menu. Costumes. Oh, cosmetics. I love it. Yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. And also I have this now. Oh, shoot. Shoot, dag. I could have done this. Because I have a shell now, I could have put one of these on. Yeah. That's unfortunate, isn't it? Cool. Well, that would have made it a little bit easier. So if you all try this, you can learn from my mistake and attempt to put one of those on so that they will benefit your adventuring. Anyway, I'm gonna go back here to this, and I don't know if I have to be inside of this to save or anything, but let's go to the skills menu. No. Here we go. Save game. Game saved. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get to our outro. That was a great time. I really enjoyed that. Did you all enjoy that? Because I had a great time with that. Yeah, so Souls-like games. Difficulty, mastering how you do the difficulty, really super important there. There's been a lot of resurgence of games with a high difficulty bar. Obviously, like, the heyday of difficult games, maybe even unfairly difficult games, was, of course, the arcades, because those games were designed to kind of like be a bit unfair so that you'd have to spend more money, right? You know, a lot of extra challenging. But this whole new wave of stuff, I mean, I can even remember back quite a while ago now at this point, it was Super Meat Boy, really super challenging platformer game. The challenging game has been got a lot of popularity, especially I think it's people who have been playing games for a long time and are very used to the conventions really find something to love in the like really technically challenging games. I know that there's a whole sector of people who love fighting games, and when you get to the kind of higher levels of play, the minutia is super critical. It's a whole different kind of game when you're playing at that level. I am not ever at that level for those kind of games, but those are great discussions to have for like understanding how to make and build and play those kind of games. This was really fun. This was a lot of fun. I recommend it based on my 2 hours of play here. It's clever. There's some clever writing in it. It's overall well constructed. It's challenging. You are going to die a lot. It's okay. And yeah, so thank you to give a name shout out to the person who recommended it. It was Adam of Gifford Music made that recommendation. They said that they were going to be playing it soon. So yeah, wasn't on my radar. Didn't have any awareness of it. So I always love good recommendations like this. If you guys ever have anything that you're playing that you're like, dude, we should do a Let's Play and talk about this, please hit me up. Let me know. Otherwise, I think that about wraps us up. I do want to say, oh, sorry, I was trying to do something and it did something weird. Anyway. Yeah, this was a great time. Thanks for those of you who joined me and just kind of went through this romp, watching me get my my shell handed to me over and over again. But we achieved victory. We defeated the law crab, the captain, or whatever. Had a lot of fun. I'll probably pick this one up and play it a bit more. And yeah, hope you all have an excellent rest of your Sunday. Really, I love being a part of this. I'm glad to be back, back doing the Let's Plays. I prefer it when there's 2 or 3 of us here, so we can have a good dialogue going, along with the chat. So, hopefully we'll do more of that here in the future. But for now, that is all I have for. Again, I'm Caleb Eno. I'm one of the COGG admins. So glad to be a part of this community, helping to organize things and seeing all the really cool stuff that you all are making. So just keep at it. We're here to provide platforms and resources as much as we're able to. So we'll catch you all next time. And thank you once again. Cheers.